guys. How you doing? Good. Good? Okay, that's cool. So I have 20 minutes. In these 20 minutes, I know you're eating. It's cool. But we're going to try to have fun, but also learn something. Is that cool? All right. First of all, I made this song. I didn't know what to call this. I decided to call it the fun song. I want to share it with you guys. Is that okay? It goes like this. Are you ready for some fun? And you're going to say, yes, we're ready for some fun. Is that cool? Yeah. You can look at your friends and be like, yes, we're ready. You know? All right, let's go. Come in. Let's put a beat to it, just like this. Everybody knows. Like this, right? Have fun, some fun. Are you ready for some fun? 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 Yeah, we're ready for some fun. Yeah, just me who thinks you're amazing. The world, the future. Good to see ya. Nice to meet ya. I came out here. I got something to tell you. Let me hear it. You're gonna have fun, but you're gonna learn something. I'm not gonna keep going. How many people having fun already? Alright, cool. Alright. Let's move this on. How many people woke up this morning and said to themselves, "Jeez, it's a beautiful Thursday. I cannot wait to be miserable." Nobody did that, right? The whole idea is that every single person want to be happy in our lives, right? Every single person want to be happy. That's the truth. We can't argue with that. So I'm gonna share my story a little bit. We don't have much time. We could have fun for such a long time, teach you more songs, but I'm gonna share my story a little bit. And how many people have heard of Burundi before? Are you serious? Like the country Burundi? I'm shocked right now. What? I'm gonna take a selfie with you guys because like when I say the country, people don't know what it is. Like is that an island? I'm like, no, it's in East Africa somewhere. So I was born in a small country called Burundi. It's located in East Central Africa. That's where I was born. And so it's like that. It's a little dot. It's very, very small, right? That's where I was born. And something happened when I was just 2 years old. A war took place. It was 1996. I was just 2 years old. And a war took place. And it's kind of interesting because I remember listening to my dad as he shared the story with me. He said when this civil war took place, nobody was ready for it. So all of a sudden, you're just eating some pizza or eating somewhere, and all of a sudden you hear gunshots, like shootings all over the place. And all of a sudden you start running, right? So my mom was with my other siblings, so she ran separately. And so I happened to be with my dad at 2 years old, and we ran separately too. So I couldn't run. I was just 2 years old. And so my dad put me on his back, boom, we were running, right? And so they ran separate ways. So I know my mom shared with me the story of what was going on, how she almost died and stuff. I'm gonna share my story with you, what happened to us, right? So we're running, and my dad tells me when he was running, there's this woman who's running, and she's carrying a child on her back, and all of a sudden, she falls down. But what really took place is that the woman gets, the baby on her back gets shot. The bullet does not go through the baby to get to the mother, so the woman just kept running. But really what happened is that the whole time, this woman was carrying a dead child. That was the situation, right? Because she was carrying her baby on her back. So what took place, my dad had me on his back as well. And all of a sudden, he heard a bubbling from my stomach, and he instantly stopped to check on me to find out whether I was still alive or dead. And so when he put me down, he found out the 2-year-old baby had passed out. So he told himself, like, what do I do now? I mean, this is during the war. And he found out that I had passed out because I have not had food in such a long time. He actually completely forgot about it. And so he asked himself, what do I do now? I mean, I have this child. What do I do? And in that instant moment, that's when I really, really believe, we might not have the best relationship with our parents, but there's love between a parent and a child that it's just like natural, it's just organic. It's not something you grow, it's just there. And I'm so thankful that my dad did not give up on me, because if he did, I wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't have this much moment right now. My dad said something. He said, I'll either die with my son or be sad with him. That's simple words. He made a decision. So if you're ever wondering whether your parents love you or not, it doesn't matter whether you don't like them or they don't like you, or whatever might be happening in your life. But I just always felt like it was I was responsible to pay respect to my parents, because there's so many things I could have done when you were a young age you wouldn't even figure out, you wouldn't even know. So for me, I'm just so thankful that I still have life, because when he stopped and found out I had passed out, he could have just been like, "Oh, this baby's passed out, he's gonna die, so let me just keep going." I mean, this is a life and death situation. People are dying. It's not like he was gonna just leave me and just go to walk through at McDonald's and get some franchise or some fries or something. It's different. So he put me down. He started wandering around looking for something, anything to feed me, looking for something, anything to feed me. And at the point where he's about to give up, and sometimes it happens to all of us, right? You're trying to do something and it's not working yet. It's not working out, or all the odds are against you. So at the point he's about to give up, he hears that little voice inside of him and all of us that told him, keep going, don't quit, persevere. And at times in our lives, when you're going through something, I don't know what you want to be in your life. I'm pretty sure you want to be something, right? But I want you to remember that when you're going through something and you are trying to accomplish your goal, right? And at times when it gets tough, you hear two voices. One will say, no, give up, and another one will say, persevere. You all related to what I'm trying to say here? Yeah. And whenever you hear those voices, I want you to remember this. Always follow your heart, knowing that you can be able to accomplish something. But that did not give up on him. He persevered. And all of a sudden, he walked up to a mushroom. He was walking out of nowhere. He just walks up to a mushroom. He takes this mushroom, came back to get me because he had left me. I was still there, a little baby, 2 years old. Anybody could have came and just grabbed me or something, right? He comes back to get me. To make a long story short, he feeds me the mushroom with water, and I come back to life that way. So we can have fun, we can do whatever. You can go ahead and do whatever you want in your life, but one thing that I want to share with you as a young person, also you being young, is that you might go through difficulties, you might be angry, you might get mad about all the kinds of things that are going on. Make sure you understand that you have a gift. The fact that you still have life, it's important, because so many people don't get that far. So many people don't. So when you're still breathing, when you still have life, you still have a chance to fight. Because so many people don't have that. Many kids around your age don't have that opportunity. They died during the war, whatever took place. So I want you to remember that. And I'm not coming from like, I'm a teacher, listen to me. No, I don't do that. Because I was a kid who, I grew up with a lot of anger when I was growing up. So when he came back, he fed me and came back to life. To make a long story short, my mom was dealing with other things. She almost died during the war. And all of a sudden, my dad, 2 days later, hears that my mom was still alive, right? And they reconnected, and we went to live in a refugee camp. So from 2 years old until I was 13 years old, I grew up in a refugee camp. And this is how it is. This picture is a real picture that demonstrates of how people move from a country to another, where I'm from, right? Because like things are still really, really bad in the country. So people just take whatever you have, like your clothes, and you just walk, long walk, to try to get safe. I was just 2 years old, and I grew up in a refugee camp. And this picture demonstrates two things: education and just the real life that we were living. This picture is, by the way, coming from a refugee camp where I used to live. So this is a real picture. I did not get them somewhere, right? these are refugee camps where I used to live, right? So the picture with this right here, this one right here, it's just like kind of like, it demonstrates like a fence. When we were living in a refugee camp, because I grew up there, I just remember people building like small tents, little houses here and there, and I'm thinking like the world was just evolving, because that was my world. And there's not like, I've never seen a physical war in my refugee camp, but I've always heard of it because we were not allowed to go away from the camp. We were always in there. And then we were going to school. Some refugee camps don't have schools. We were going to school, and I just want to say this. You come to school here, it's almost like it's required for you to come to school. In my refugee camp, you have so many kids that want to go into the school system, they're not allowed because they don't have any money. We have to pay a little money to go to school. So many kids your age would want to go to school, but they did not go to school. So when you're given chance to go to school and get education, you can ignore the good things, the bad things about it. But the real value is that you're getting connections. You're getting people who want to support you. Imagine this. What if you did not go to school just because it was required, but instead you went to school for your grandmother, your parents, even the kids that are in a refugee camp somewhere, that are your same age, they're your age. What if you did it for them as well? Because oftentimes we do stuff for ourselves. Oh, I don't want to do this. We use the I a lot. I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, right? But what if you just switched it a little bit and you went to school for others as well? Because where I grew up, we did not get a chance to go to college and become something, right? It was very difficult to dream to become a pilot. You don't see no airplanes. It's very difficult to dream to become a doctor. You don't see any doctor coming from you, coming from your community, right? So we were in a refugee camp, and I have to tell you this. Growing up in a refugee camp, yes, I can share how, there's no lights, no electricity, no indoor plumbing. I can share all that. But growing up there, I still appreciate people who seek to do better in their lives. Because the way we had some people come volunteer and give us some little aid here and there to just help us survive every day, those people were doing better for their life. When you do better, other people seek to do better. Because it's when you're successful where you can help other people. Is that right? And I'm going to share with you this. You see this picture right here? So the kid is right here wearing the green with a red collar right here. You see that? That kid, that's me. And I was in 2002. And I look at the picture, nowadays we have new fashion, jeans that are ripped off our knees and the shirts, right? Kanye West style. I look at the picture and I'm like, wow, that was in 2002. We're in 2018. We still have, shirts that are ripped off. I was already outdated in terms of the fashion, right? But that's because the shirt, I've been wearing that shirt for such a long, long time. And this picture right here is a real picture of a refugee camp. This is like the real picture of how my refugee camp looked like. Like small houses, small tents. And the whole idea is to really, really get you a safe place where you can still live. But they don't intend to keep you there. So what happens is a lot of different countries, even including African countries, they try to volunteer and be like, okay, we can take in these many people. We can take in these many people. Because what happens is, one thing that I don't usually share about is that my dad once became a refugee person too. I was like, wait a minute. So I'm following a trend that I don't think it should be a trend. Because how did I become a refugee? Why did I get a chance? Why did I grow up in a refugee camp? Why me? These are the questions that we ask ourselves. We see you on TV, we're like, how come I'm in a refugee camp? Why? And you ask about that, you think of those questions, and they're very difficult questions. Why do some people live this lifestyle, and why do other people live this lifestyle? And it's not so much that, it's because I don't matter, I'm not important. It's just so much because somebody out there decided not to love another person like they should have to. That's what it comes down to. Because I grew up with a lot of anger. Asking myself, why did I end up in a refugee camp? Why do some kids my age have this and I don't, right? And I came to understand that it's because somebody before me made a mistake to not love somebody like they should have done. So next time you become mean to somebody, bullying and all that stuff, you remember, you're causing the trouble. You are adding to the problem. And as a result, that's why you have refugee kids. As a result, that's why you have kids who are committing suicide. As a result, that's why you have all these problems, right? So it is for us to be able to do better. And the best thing you can do, before you think about changing the world, the best thing you can do right now is to change yourself. That's the best thing you can do. Because you have so many people asking, like, how can I change the world? How can I do this, right? And I'm like, what are you doing to change yourself? Would you like your little brother to be like you? Have you heard people say who you are is what you do when nobody's watching? Have you heard that before? So I ask people, like, the way you are right now and everything you do, would you like people to be the same? And I came to America in 2008, and the reason why we came is because my family, our home has been destroyed back home, so we didn't have a home. And so what they do, they try to encourage refugees that still have a home, still have like a property, to just go back to their homes when the country is doing a little better. And then we have some refugees who have been living in a refugee camp for a long time. Imagine a 20-year-old who was born in a refugee camp and their dad grew up in a refugee camp. You don't know where to send them, right? So they're there. So as a result, some countries volunteer to say, okay, we can take this many people to change their lives. And that's what happened. And it's a gift for me to be here because I didn't deserve any of this. So we came to America in 2008, and I was super excited. And I just wanted to share this with you. When I came, it goes back to the mind virus that I had what I call a mind virus. A mind virus is a negative way of thinking based on circumstances or negative experiences that has taken place in one's life. I used to think if I was born in better circumstances, I would have done good things and become like other kids that are doing good. That was my reason. So every time we cause trouble, every time things don't go well, sometimes it's because, maybe it's because my parents are divorced. That's why I'm not able to do this. Or maybe this, right? We give ourselves reasons. That makes sense to us. And it made sense for me why I was not a good student. I will tell you right now, when I was in high school, I was not a good kid. I was called an at-risk student, and because of where I grew up, how I came about, it was a confirmation bias. I was like, okay, that makes sense why I'm never going to be successful. And how it all changed was to understand and to be aware that my whole reasoning was based on fear of not wanting to change. And I'll tell you this, like, whatever you want to become in your life, the goals you have, the dreams, I just want you to remember one thing. I have this quote. Be kind to others. You might be that person's hero for a day or a lifetime. Because in order to restore my confidence, there are students like you who were kind to me, who were enough to say, hey, how you doing? To try to understand who I am. So all I ask of you to do is just try to be kind. Try to be kind. And you make a significant difference in somebody's life when you just be kind to them. That's all I ask for. And this is a picture of my freshman year in high school. Like, really? 3 years later, there's a picture of my senior year in high school, right? It changed. It changed. And I know we don't have a lot of time because the bell is about to ring now. 1:30, right? 1:36? Okay, so we have a few time. So I wanted to share one thing that I did that I think could be really, really useful for you, right? One thing that you don't have to follow it. Like I said, when you do better, other people seek to do better. Stop thinking about changing the world. Just do better for yourself, right? Do better for yourself, because when you do better, the other kid that's not doing well, they'll see you and they want to do better too, right? That's how innovation works. And I want to share with you one thing. Ask for help, not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong. Most of us in our generation, we don't know how to ask for help. We're afraid our peers are going to make fun of us. We're struggling with things and we're afraid to admit it. It's okay to ask for help. I remember when I was in high school, I didn't want to ask for help. I didn't want people to know, like, oh, you're fake. I didn't want to ask for help, but I was struggling. Guess what? I was not happy. And I'll tell you, that when I was 14, I had my own my dad was paying for 2 apartments, so me and my brother were living in an apartment, right? So every time I caused trouble in school, they'll send letters to me, dear Mr. Eli, and I read it. So I had all the kinds of freedom that I had, right? But I was not happy. I was miserable. Then I came to find out that freedom is not to do whatever you want to do. Freedom is to do what you ought to do. As a refugee kid that came to America, I faced a lot of obstacles. And I feel for the other refugee kids around the world. But one thing that we could get from you is your ability to be successful so you can come back to help us. That's all. That's all we ask from you. I'm going to share with you just one thing that I think could be really, really useful to help you for your life. And then this is just what I did, because you're wondering, like, how did you change your life? This is one thing that I did. You know, when you use a computer, how many people use computers or a phone or any kind of device every single day, right? Okay, all around you. So every day, right? So you do this every single day. Let me tell you this. Let's say one thing from here. Just remember this. So I have this theory that I call MMX theory. Minimize, maximize, exit. That's what it is. So when you're in a computer right here, you have those little things, right? Minimize, maximize, and exit. You get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Okay, and the same colors, right? And when you use the traffic lights, like when you're driving a car, you have traffic lights and the same colors, right? When it turns yellow, you're supposed to do what? Slow down. Oh, you guys are good. I hope you do that. Because some of you, I bet some of you see that yellow and like, I know some of you do that. Right? Because you see teachers and counselors like, oh, you slow down. What are you supposed to do when you see green? What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to go. And what are you supposed to do when you see red? Stop. Okay. So here's the thing. This whole concept is the same concept with computers, right? Minimize means you just get rid of the tab that you don't really quit the tab. It just goes down, right? And maximize, you make the tab on the computer bigger. And exit, you exit the tab, right? It's the same concept. And it's been working for a long time. Somebody will Google, when did the traffic lights was invented, right? Just Google that for your own knowledge, right? It's been a long time. So I looked at it and I was like, whoa, this is kind of interesting because it's helping us live better. Because if we didn't have traffic lights, you'd see many accidents. If we didn't have those little things on the computer, it would be difficult to use your phone. I know you use it like you're a champ, but if you didn't have those little things, it would be very difficult, right? So this is what I did, and this I think could help you in your life, right? Minimize, I ask myself, what habits or activities should get less of my precious time and be minimized? What are the things you're doing more of that you should do less of in your life to better yourself? So that way you can, it's not just about you guys, it's about your community. It's about the world. It's about some of the kids that are your age that are struggling. They're dying every single day. It's about them as well. So ask yourself, what are the things you're wasting time on? Maybe you use social media too much. Maybe if somebody told you, do not use social media anymore, you're probably going to die. So we're going to save you and say, okay, minimize the amount of time you spend on social media, right? That's an easy way to approach this. And maximize. What are the things that you should do more of that you're not doing? The things that should get more of your precious time. And the exit, that's where you cover yourself and be like, what are the habits, the things that I'm doing that are really not really helpful for me or anybody in my community or anybody in the world that I should quit so I can use my time to do better things in my life. I want you to think of that. I want you to think of that. Because again, when you do better, other people seek to do better. I hope you understand this concept. I hope you understand that. I hope you understand that other kids your age, they're struggling tremendously. And I wanted to share this with you. You know, you cannot eat an elephant in one bite. So the goal, the dream, if you want to help other refugee kids or other people in your life, you cannot do it tomorrow or today. It's about getting a picture of the elephant. No, now you cannot eat an elephant in one bite. You have to chop it up into smaller pieces. Chop the elephant in smaller pieces. Eat a piece every single day. You'll get there, right? And I just want to leave you with this. I know the bell's about to ring. It's not about what people might judge you to be that define who you are. It's about what you're capable of becoming that makes you who you were created to be. Guys, I had fun with you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.